Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of The Cheap Seats. This is your weekly Premier League show. We discuss all things happening in the Premier League. It is transfer deadline day, and there's rumors that Aubameyang is coming back to the Premier League. I should be a little bit happy, but as an Arsenal supporter, I'm a little weirded out, but that's okay. Happy for the man. Cyrus, you're getting a striker, and Wahid managed to get Anthony yesterday. How are you guys? How are you doing, Cyrus? How are you feeling about Aubameyang?
Look, I'd be feeling great about him if we didn't get clubbed by Southampton. But it swings and roundabouts in the league, right? Like you get beaten up by Southampton, you get Aubameyang, you get Fofana, then you think, okay, maybe things might get better. But I've seen this play before. The battle for that top four is going to be interesting.
What I don't get is why Fofana had to go to LA before he had to go to London for his.
Oh, I can tell you why.
Medical.
Have you watched Winning Time? The
Yes, I
HBO
have.
series of the Lakers. Think
Love
of,
Winning Time.
of Todd Bowley like you would Dr. Buss. He wants to get a picture with his guy, So I mean, if you think about the original announcement, he's there shaking hands. Did Roman ever travel anywhere? No, but Todd Bowley can definitely make players go to LA. Like, come on, check it out. It's really nice here, kid. And we could go to the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, okay. So if Fofana was taken to the Playboy Mansion, we'll find out.
I mean,
did you
that's
guys give him a
clear
7-year contract?
conjecture? 7 years, bud. That's why he costs so much. And this is also the other thing. As didn't we talk about the amortization? So we're looking at that, like the fee being about 75 mil. So over 7 years, it turns out to be not so bad. You could almost stomach it. Like, I'm paying. But the reality is, he's 21 years old. 7-year deal. If he even sees 5 years at the top level, we'd be happy. If he stays the entirety of his contract, it'll be well worth it.
But it's interesting to see clubs going with longer and longer deals. Like I think that's probably just protecting assets, because we've seen a lot of players leaving on free transfers across various leagues, and that's becoming a lot more prevalent with high level players. If they're not happy and the club won't sell them, they just run down their contract and leave. And I suspect we might see longer and longer contracts being dished out to both players and managers, so that they're protecting their interest. Would you be surprised with Pep Guardiola giving it like 8-year contract? I wouldn't.
Well, I would, because Pep, he treats his career like Pep rotation. So but I get you in the sense that the club is trying to secure their assets. When did we stop calling it a Bosman? I really loved when we used to call it a Bosman.
That's when we left Brexit, when Brexit happened, when we left Europe.
Now,
before we continue, because I want to talk to the United faithful about Anthony. Remember, the show is sponsored by Classic Shirt ZA. The shirt of the week, the World Cup shirt. It is, we're going to Qatar, even though you like it or not. This is something you should go to the website to go and get.
Yeah.
This is probably the best Germany kit I have seen going to a World Cup. And that's saying a lot, because I think in 2016 one was pretty nice. Wahid, you don't support Germany, but you are going to meet Germany somewhere along the way. What do you think about this kit? Also, they've gotten away with that whole Adidas writing at the bottom, which I think is amazing.
Just the stripes.
Yeah, it's a really clean logo. It's a really clean kit. I think it's very, very nice. The white, the gold, the black, the touch of red. It just works.
Oh, Deutschland.
It's a very, very nice kit.
Die Mannschaft.
Amazing. But you remember, you can get it on Classic Shirts ZA. Remember to use the code CheapSeats99. Just lets them know that we sent you. Quick word, AB, Anthony, you got your guy. There's some videos circulating around making it seem like he comes from the Cape Flats. How are you feeling about Anthony? He's about to get locked up by KT on Sunday.
The game against Arsenal.
I don't know if he'll play, man.
Look, why won't he play?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Eric. But yeah, maybe he's not fit. I don't know. He didn't train for a bit. Yeah, we'll see. I'm happy for Ten Hag. He wanted a guy. He got his guy. He won't be able to say. He won't be able to have those excuses. We definitely needed another attacker after Greenwood is no longer playing. Will Ronaldo leave today? We don't know. Will Memphis come? Guys, Twitter's on fire right
Do
now.
you want Memphis to come?
Personally, no.
Man.
But Eric Ten Hag coached him when he was assistant at PSV. So Eric wants him. You know, that's how Eric does his.
Are there any other players that Eric has coached that
Frankie? There's still rumors for Frankie. Guys, Eric loves a good ex. So yeah.
He hasn't been burnt by an ex yet, you know. So there's still time.
You got your man, Anthony. I don't know how much you paid for him. It's like 100 million. But
It's
the
100
fee
million
doesn't
euros,
matter,
I think
right?
86 million pounds, yeah.
The fee doesn't matter, right?
Well, right
is it
now
going to be another Pepe?
14 million pounds with the way the euro is. So.
Is it going to be another Pepe, or are we expecting bigger things?
Don't know. Have absolutely no idea how this goes. He could turn into an absolute world star, or he could go into the United graveyard of talent that is Old Trafford. To be honest, yeah, we don't. I really not sure.
By the way, he moved to Sevilla. He's moving up the ranks.
I'm really not sure how this goes. But I think I've said it on another show, and it's something that Eric Ten Hag brought up in the like unveiling, was to say that he's got the right mentality, and he's a fighter and a warrior on the pitch. And I've said that in shows before. I think Ten Hag's looked at this dressing room and thought that there's no personality, there's no winning mentality, there's no warriors, there's no fighters. And he's chucked the club's scouting book out the window and thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to bring in my own warriors, my own fighters, the players who I know will jack up that dressing room for me and will be me on the pitch, will work for me, will fight for me. And I think that no matter what happens with Anthony, I think that at least we'll have someone who gives a shit, who wants to fight for the manager, who wants to be there. Like, we've had a bunch of players Man United have signed who've come only for the money. Yes, we're paying Anthony a lot of money, and yes, we paid Ajax a lot of money, but he's not here for the money. This is a man who's done absolutely everything to fulfill a dream of coming to the Premier League and playing for Man United and playing for Eric Ten Hag. So I think that from that perspective, I'm very excited to see how he goes. Whether he fulfills the undoubted potential he has, we'll see. But I think this season, we'll probably see a development of Anthony insofar as that he'll probably start off as like a really raw player with flashes of brilliance, and he might develop into a more consistent player over the years. What I'm expecting this year is a lot of like Nani vibes, sort of like really good at times, but really frustrating at others. So I think United fans just have to get our expectations right. Yes, I know we've paid a lot of money, but this is not a player who's come in for 100 million pounds for right now. He's come in for 100 million pounds for the next, or 100 million euros for the next 5 years. If
he gives you the same production as Richarlison, would you be happy?
I've got no expectations of this, so I'm not going to be happy or sad either way. Like, my expectations are almost zero for this transfer.
So what will make him a flop?
What will make him a flop is going the United way of giving up, not caring, which I don't see happening. If this man just fights for the badge, I think that United fans will be fine with however the season goes.
So if he fights for the badge with 0 goals, you guys are happy.
No, I don't think to that extreme, but I think that if you're expecting 25 goals and like 15 assists from him this season, you're probably a bit misguided. Yes, usually when you spend 100 million euros, that's what you're expecting, but I don't think that's the expectation of this player. This is a young player brought in from a different league, probably still needs a bit of physical development, etc., etc., etc.
Okay, we're going to talk about that player coming from a different league who's lighting it up and doesn't even need any physical things. But the first topic of the day, are Arsenal the real deal? I ask myself this question every time Arsenal play, because I even watching them against Aston Villa, I see some of the weaknesses and I'm sitting there going, okay, we should have been punished. We should be punished. But as we keep on going along, 100%. They're winning games. They're going down. They're coming back. They are doing everything that we've asked for them. And a lot of people will say, yes, you played, Bournemouth, Fulham, Palace are pretty good. Leicester, who are fighting. Brendan Rodgers hasn't been fired yet. And obviously, we're playing Manchester United on Sunday. But I look at this team and say, and I think, is it possible for us to win the league? It's slightly likely. That's where I'm at. Champions League, yes.
Slightly likely.
Yes, I'm believing, but a little bit. It's not
So
a lot.
You think Arsenal could win the league?
Yes. And that's what these 5 games have taught me, is that this team could go out, and this is what the key thing for me is this weekend. Yes, I want to beat Manchester United. But if I can come out of Old Trafford with a draw against that team that has won 2 in a row, and hopefully 3 in a row against Leicester, we don't know. We'll find out. If they lose to Leicester, I know we're going to lose. But if they can eke out draws, if they can be competitive against Liverpool and put themselves in positions to take games away, then yes. And that's what this team has shown me for the first 5 games, is that there is a possibility that at the end of the season, it could be between us and City, and it could come down to those 2 games if this team doesn't slip up. But the World Cup's there. There's so many things that are going to happen. It is very early. So that's why I'm saying it's slightly likely, because I sit there going, man, I've watched Pep pull leagues away.
I absolutely love your optimism, because slightly likely is a far cry from what was happening last season. And to go from being, I don't even know if we'll ever see the Champions League again, to, yeah, we could potentially win the league, is a massive, massive jump. And I'm going to rain on your parade here a little bit, because like in what you basically answered, that you think Arsenal is the real deal. And I'll say this, I think they are too, but I also think that we need to qualify what the real deal means. Do I think Arsenal are title contenders? Potentially contenders. Do I think they'll win the title? Never. Not this season. And that's the never that I mean. Not like ever. But this season, I just don't see it. And the reason being, Odegaard hobbled off in your most recent game. El Neni's got his injury issues. The Arsenal in Arsenal Football Club is coming to the fore, and you haven't played any of the big teams. And remember, you mentioned about the 2 games against City being what could determine your title chances. Let's not forget the games against Spurs, which will be no cakewalks, against Chelsea, which won't be cakewalks, against United, Liverpool. There are a lot of teams in that bracket that will determine whether or not this title goes one way or the other. I don't see Arsenal being the team that will beat every single one of those teams. City and Liverpool, well, Liverpool are currently beating themselves, and with the help of referees beating a lot of other guys. But anyway, that's a story for another day. I will say this though: I think that Arsenal finally can see what the Arteta game plan has been all about. All the good vibes, all the stuff that's in All or Nothing right now, where everybody's down in the dumps and looking foolish because he said things. Yeah, exactly. But you're now starting to see what's been worked on. Even the Saliba thing. If Saliba had been there last season, he wouldn't be the Saliba he is now. And I think that's an important thing. So I think Arsenal can really, really look at themselves as being a team.
Saliba reminds me of Rio Ferdinand.
Oh,
he is so similar.
He's a quality
style.
I just hope.
Really is.
I just hope that Real Madrid doesn't come with another 100 million offer to try
Everyone
and take
will.
hand.
Arsenal basically are like a sweet shop, So if you've got enough money, you can get pretty much anybody there. But I think the thing is, we're seeing a far better Arsenal now than we have for the last 5-6 years. It makes me excited because the league is always good when the top 6 teams are at their very best, top 6, 7, 8, whatever they are. And I think that this will be a far more entertaining spectacle. But do I think that they're going to win the league? No. Especially not when there's a shark wearing blue in Manchester in Erling Haaland, who looks unbelievable. He looks like the Terminator had made love to a predator and they had a kid. He's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about him later. Wahid, am I not allowed to dream? Am I not allowed to sit here and say, well, we won 5 out of 5. History says we either finish 1 or 2. And I hope we do finish it first. But am I not allowed to dream at this stage in the league?
I think it's a bit early to be dreaming. I think, especially this season, with the way it's going to pan out, with the World Cup and stuff like that, I would think that you sort of need to take it almost like, I think every season is like a game by game thing. And I've said it before as well. Arteta has been a patchy manager. He wins in patches and he loses in patches. And one loss to Man United this weekend could change things and could change the narrative and could change the dynamic of that squad. And that's not to say Man United are very good, but Man United have been giant slayers in the last little while, and I've talked about that last week to say that we're good at absorbing pressure and hitting teams on the break. We do have a lot of pace up front, and we can nickel goal and sort of absorb pressure, especially with someone like Lisandro Martinez coming up. He's like that warrior at the back who helps you sort of close out games when you've just got an ugly 1-0 lead. But having said that, it's not to say that United will, but if United do beat Arsenal this weekend, you wouldn't bet against Arsenal derailing for a couple of weeks. We've seen it before, and it's not out of the realms of possibility of it happening again. Arsenal's squad's a little bit thin in very important areas, like in defensive midfield. You're a little bit thin there. So you lose Partey, you lose El Neni, and then who's starting there? You actually don't have enough options in that sort of part of the field.
Sambi Lokonga, who had a game of his life last night.
You're trying to shoehorn players into positions, because is he going to trust Sambi Lokonga there, or is he going to shoehorn another player into that defensive midfield role like Xhaka or someone?
Look, I was actually very surprised yesterday about how Xhaka's now playing an 8 and Sambi was playing more of the 6 yesterday. And it worked. It had its moments. The goal we conceded wasn't because of a mistake in the midfield. No. It was because our goalkeeper doesn't know how to fight off a player. And the referee and VAR, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I saw wrestling yesterday. It was wild, and we were on the back end of it.
As I've been told about the hair pull that happened on Cucurella, we're supposed to just get over it,
Okay, I'll get over it.
Mark can look at stuff, and then you're like, how is it possible?
AB, when we lose to Manchester United, or if we lose to Manchester United, I will be sitting there going, it's 5 from 6. We lost to United. Yes, maybe we might not be title challengers, but we're there. When you look at this Arsenal side, what do you think?
I think that Arsenal side is part of the top 5 teams in the Premier League, squad-wise. I think Chelsea are now signing Aubameyang, which kind of elevates them into challenging for top 4.
Serious? Did you guys not watch Aubameyang last season?
Guys, well, also, Chelsea don't have strikers, right? Like, anyone is better than Kai. I am better than Kai.
Kai Havertz has got to be the luckiest man on the planet. Although, having said that, this guy went and won the Champions League for Chelsea. So it's hard to hate on somebody who's done that for you.
This is a David Markham argument.
Bring revenge to back when you fired Tuchel, because he won the Champions League. If that's the narrative for
I would do it. I would do it. He'd have enough love to just get at least 2 games. My point though is, when you've got a player who is a bit of a cult hero, somebody that does something like that, right? You kind of have a soft spot. But the amount of chances Kai Havertz has been given, but it can't be endless. But the other thing is, he's not a false 9. He shouldn't be. They shouldn't be trying to Mikel Antonio him, because that's just not him. And I think that if he were to play almost as like a floating 10, he might be a bit better, but I just haven't seen anything. I'm going to be totally honest. I just haven't seen anything.
It's crazy.
So is he a good footballer without a position? Because he's not a winger. He's not a good 10. He's not a striker. What is he? He's none of those. He's not good in any of those positions. So when he played 10, we still thought, okay, try him he's not effective as a 10. He's not robust enough. He's not robust enough on the right. What is he?
I think he's actually a sort of hybrid 8-10, in the sense that he actually should be playing a little deeper. He's got the ability to run at defenses and also pick out a good pass here and there. The problem with Kai Havertz is he's not being asked to do any of those things. Often he's caught in trying to hold the ball up. He's not necessarily good at that. Trying to beat players on the flanks, he's not particularly pacey enough to do that. So all of the stuff that would make him somewhat effective is negated in the positions that he's been played in. I mean, it's a bit like if you played Bruno Fernandes as a 6, right? you're not going to get the best out of him in those positions. And then we're going to start asking the questions, well, what is he? When in actual fact, if he's being utilized in the wrong places all the time, he's going to look as if he's absolutely terrible at everything, as opposed to being good at the things that he's good at. And it was the same with Timo Werner. Timo Werner at Chelsea, in fact, gosh, we've gone so off the topic here, but the thing about Timo is that he was an effective forward coming off the left. When he was asked to do all the things that Chelsea asked him to do, he just couldn't do it. And he's also not a dribbler. The man tries to push the ball past the defense and get some joy that way. So I think one of the biggest issues I've had with Thomas Tuchel, who we really should be having a referendum on, I totally agree with that, is that he's brought players in to fit into a system that they don't necessarily excel in. And some of these players have regressed terribly. Pulisic looked unbelievably poor against Southampton, but he's not a right wing back. So what are we expecting him to do? The same with Timo Werner. Looked like he could score goals for fun. Came to Chelsea, looked like he didn't know what the goal looked like. Goes back to Germany and he's back to banging in goals. Lukaku, the same thing.
Well, the thing is, I think he probably has a plan for that right wing back, because now with Fofana coming in, it probably shifts Reece James back into the wing back position. What's weird to me is the other side of the defense, signing Cucurella to play centre back. It makes very little sense.
No, none at all. But I don't think that was necessarily it. And I've actually come to understand the logic here. Sorry, Arsenal are not the real deal. Just to keep on track. So
yes, I've been listening to this conversation.
but the thing about Cucurella was that Tuchel looked at Chilwell and realized he is so far off the pace from a fitness perspective that he needed to have an effective replacement for him when he needs him. He doesn't have any trust in Alonso. Alonso got the pace of an ant. And the same with Emerson. He just didn't see enough in Emerson that he wanted to keep him around. The reason he actually decided... Pardon?
Didn't he sign Emerson?
No. Emerson had
been
there for
Emerson
ages.
left.
Emerson's been there. He's like their Phil Jones. He's been there for years.
Oh, you signed Chilwell.
Not quite the full.
No, their Phil Jones is Kennedy. He's still there. We just don't know where Kennedy is.
Exactly. Chilwell is Lampard.
Guys, I can't keep up to date with your managers, okay? Yeah. Please.
Well, it's what we do best. And crazily still get to finals and stuff. But the thing is that
was unnecessary.
It was just a point that needed to be made.
Bangkok Challenge Cup.
Okay, guys. Okay, enough about Cucurella. Enough about Chelsea. Let's move on. Cyrus, if we want to have we'll have a Chelsea conversation probably next week.
I was asked
when we talk about.
I'm just saying.
We know. Second topic of the day: Erling Haaland scored 2 hat tricks over the weekend. This week, and it was unbelievable to watch. Is he en route to 40 goals? He's already got 9 and 5. What happened to the Bundesliga tax? Wahid?
I think Pep. We've seen Pep tweak a system, and Pep is the master of tweaking a system. They played like this 3-2-2-3 thing in, like, not necessarily from the start, but they've often gone to this thing. They played like 3 at the back and then like this box midfield and 3 in the front. It's been unbelievable to see how he's gotten his team purring to the tune of Erling Haaland. He's quickly assessed what Tuchel didn't assess last season in the strengths of the player, and he's played to those strengths. Tuchel didn't do it for Lukaku. Lukaku and Erling Haaland are in different worlds. They're in different stratospheres. They're in different atmospheres. They're not the same. They're not in the same bracket of class, but they do have similar attributes. And what Pep has done is he's figured out those attributes really quickly. He said, I have got an absolute racehorse of a striker here, and I need to get the best out of it one way or another. And he's tweaked his system. They're not playing the same way they did last season. Last season, they sort of had their fullbacks come in only when they were off the ball. Now they've got fullbacks coming in when they're on the ball. They've tweaked the system and they're getting the best out of him. Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland look like they were born to play together. I always say Bernardo Silva is the one that makes that City team tick. And if he had to go to Barcelona, I would be so relieved and so happy because I think they would be taking out the kingpin of their team. But Haaland has just been unbelievable. I don't know who's going to stop him apart from Lisandro Martinez.
Lisandro.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Lisandro Martinez
Wow.
will just play in the Premier League. I love that guy. I love him. I'm going on classic shirts there after this and ordering that green kit in Martinez 6. I love that.
Look, everybody will have their guys that they love. I will say this, and you mentioned Tuchel versus Pep, and you're dead right, because the thing is, Tuchel is a system person. He's got a system in mind, and he's going to play it, and you either fit into it or you don't. Pep realized what he had and said, we need to get absolutely every bit of juice out of this orange, so we are going to make sure everything is built around Haaland succeeding. They didn't have an Erling Haaland before, and frankly, they didn't feel that they needed to shift their system to suit a Gabriel. You look at why, and that's Jesus, by the way. So you look at why Jesus is working at Arsenal, and that has to do with the fact that they've got this system that just says, plug in, run around a bit. It's what you do well. You can play off the flanks, you can come to the center. We know your dribbling skills are good. Add all of that. We're happy to have it. City just say, we will make sure that we can create space for you, Erling, and all you've got to do is just maximize on your speed, your accuracy, and your power. I will also say this to Wahid's point about Bernardo Silva. I think he's extremely important to City and probably is one of the vital cogs in that machine. But I also think that he is somewhat replaceable because although Ilkay Gundogan gets so many injuries, he is as good as Bernardo Silva is on the ball and finding spaces and finding the good pass. I think Gundogan is one of their most underrated players. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that has Calvin Phillips played?
He's been injured. Oh.
City are unreal. And you look at the amount of options they have. I mean, this is the season. I honestly think this is the season City win the Champions League.
Yeah.
But I don't know
if Haaland scores in the fullback department, Sai.
I don't doubt that. Didn't they just sign somebody now?
Akanji, no, he's a centre back.
No, he's a centre back.
The thing about Akanji actually is that what does that mean for Kyle Walker?
Kyle Walker's going to play right back.
Exactly. And so this is City then saying, Kyle, you don't have to be. The thing with City is that they find a way. Yes, they might not have the best left back. It's not like everybody when Zinchenko was there was thinking, why are they not playing Zinchenko? I think City are setting themselves
The left back is Cancelo.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're talking about.
He is the best left back.
Yeah, exactly. So you're looking at Cancelo left back. You're looking at Akanji as being, swapping between Diaz, Stones, and Ake in whatever formation that they use. With Kyle Walker then going back to full-time right back duties and potentially, one other youngster, getting used in that space. City didn't ever have a striker that you felt could score the goals they needed when they were in big, big moments. You always wondered who was going to come up with a goal for them, and it was not Sterling. No, I say never. Obviously, Aguero was that guy, but I'm talking about in recent years. Like Aguero wasn't that guy last season. So post Aguero is what I mean. And is Haaland not more? I'm going to say something really, really blasphemous.
Say it, and then we'll go to AB.
Is Haaland not kind of scarier than Aguero was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm looking from the outside in, and I'm thinking it's like there were ways and means to stop City playing with Aguero. And I'm looking, and apart from Lisandro Martinez, I can't see another defender in the league who's going to stop that guy playing.
Yeah, I mean, I get you. Maybe Virgil, is sent down from above. But
Virgil, the guy who watched Jadon Sancho dance in the box. Come on.
Yeah.
He's got nothing on Martinez. He's got nothing on my mind, Martinez.
Yeah. I do think, though, there's anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Look, William Saliba says, hi, Wahid.
To be fair to Wahid, the only reason why Martinez, stops Haaland is because Haaland can't see him. Because Haaland is looking from so high. He doesn't notice.
He's below the clouds.
Kicking his ankle. The one thing about Haaland, though, the one thing is this guy can go and score 40 goals like tomorrow, like 10 weeks. But his body, if he manages to stay fit, we are all screwed. We stop watching football now. But if he gets injured, that's the.
But here's the thing, AB. Here's the thing: is that Pep obviously saw this change of style coming, and he signed a Haaland 2.0. He signed someone who can fulfill the role of Haaland when Haaland's not there. Haaland's playing an hour every week. He's not playing 90 minutes. He's scoring hat-tricks in 60 minutes and leaving the field so that they maintain his body.
He played 80 minutes. Yeah,
well, 60, 80. He's not playing full games. They know what they're doing, and they've signed a Haaland 2.0 to literally fill in for Haaland and do not as good a job, but a decent job when he's not there. They've signed a like for like to be his understudy. So they've done it perfectly. Everything has been done perfectly for them to set up this new system.
And Wahid, how does that make you feel that Manchester City have done this?
No, don't get me started. Get me started.
As I said earlier, I have nightmares about when we play City. But
we've got Lisandro Martinez.
I feel a little bit
no nightmares on my side, bro.
The only issue I have is that Gabriel has lapses in concentration. Saliba does not.
One? Which Gabriel?
Magalhaes, number 6. Yes, the Brazilian centre back.
Many.
He has lapses in concentration. Saliba does not. And if you want to target somebody, it would be him in our defense. I'm so happy that Ben White is out of that centre back pairing, thank God. But yeah, I'm so worried about Erling Haaland. Like I sit there going, guys,
can I say
outside of Lisandro Martinez and Saliba, like who else can stop him? Like he's afraid to. I feel sorry for Bournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth. But Erling Haaland has never scored 30 league goals in a season, though. So, I mean, it's possible this talk of potentially hitting 40, he's got the potential to do it, but do you think it's realistic?
Yes, I'll tell you why. Because he gets a 2-month break that a lot of other players aren't going to get.
He doesn't go to the World Cup.
He can go absolutely full tilt till the World Cup. He can give his body 2 months off, and he can go full tilt again to the end of the season. And that's why I think that despite everything that everybody's saying about his body and him breaking down, number one is that he gets a break, and number two is that Pep obviously. We know the story of Pep and his doctors and the injections that they get and the steroids and the drugging and all sorts of things that Pep gets his players. Like people recover from ACLs in like a week and a half at City. So I like that is why the talk of 40 goals is not out of the realms of possibility.
So, but like to be fair, like I really don't think City signed Haaland to win another league. They want this man for the Champions
League. Yeah.
That is because if you don't win the Champions League now with this man, this team, the way it's like you'll never win it. Pep may as well pack his bags, go back to Barca, pull another lever, sign him again, and then win it there. Like
pull another lever. That's great. Okay. Let's move on to the final one of the day. Erling Haaland is rising. Mo Salah seems to be declining.
Nah, guys.
The curious case of Mo. They scored 9 goals. Liverpool scored 9 goals. He did not help in one. What's going on, guys? What's happening? Are we worried about Mo Salah? They sent the wrong guy, Cyrus.
No. I think the thing is he's allowed to have a bit of a dip. I don't necessarily think this is like the end of Salah and Salah madness and all of that stuff because he contributes so much in any of Liverpool's games. I do think though that potentially he's not had the greatest chance to create chances for himself. And I think that I'm not going to say defensive have figured him out because he's not the kind of player where you're like, oh, goodness, if only we just turned left. I think that he's struggling because there isn't another person on the other side of the flank that everybody's focusing on. Because whenever you focus too much on Salah, Mane was available. And then defenses then look around and say, no, now we're going to focus on Mane, and then Salah would be able to get a little bit more. When we were talking earlier about Anthony making a difference and being able to make a good start, I wanted to make the point that if Antony has a good start to the season, it could be as good as Luis Diaz's. And that is an exciting thing for United fans because Luis Diaz looks as if he's been playing in this Liverpool team for 4 or 5 years. He
come from a
understands the
slightly
system,
different league.
but in terms of the ability on the ball, being able to gel with your teammates very quickly, and also knowing how to smash the ball towards goal, all of these things are things that the very best can do. Diaz has been unbelievable for me. So I look at the Mo Salah thing, and I think once Diaz becomes more of an issue, and defenses are somewhat spread because they have to cover both flanks equally, it will unlock Mo Salah to become the Salah that we've seen. Because he's been double teamed, they've been marking the heck out of him whenever he's gotten on the ball, and that's generally because they've been able to say, okay, let's gamble on the left flank. Whatever happens there, you can go one-on-one defensively with a little bit of help, as opposed to this is Mo Salah, everybody on him. So
that's what United did. United were very good. Malacia was extremely good against Mo Salah, but it was almost a point of making sure that the ball, once it landed with Mo Salah, the ball couldn't go elsewhere. He was closed down so quickly that he didn't have many options. Maybe teams have just figured out that Liverpool without Mane is like praying without wudu. Salah is invalid.
It's possible.
But
it's possible.
Because I kept on thinking this week, AB, that obviously they let go of Mane, thinking obviously the age thing and everything else, and Mo got the new deal. I thought maybe it was like a new deal syndrome happening with Mo. I know it's only been a month. Obviously, Harry Kane doesn't play well in August, so we give him that all the time. Should we give Mo Salah? How long do we give Mo Salah grace before we realize that there's a bit of a decline?
How long is the season?
Yeah, I mean, guys,
FIFA needs to determine that because we don't know how long the season is.
I mean, like, let's not forget that Mo assisted twice in their comeback win. If Mo's not scoring, he's contributing, even if it's not in this like millennial assist thing. Like, Mo is a genius on the field. If Liverpool fans don't want him, I will take him at United. If FPL owners don't want him, sell him, please. Like, please, I'm happy to keep him.
I wouldn't take Mo Salah at Man United.
Okay, well, that's
what?
Wahid.
Wahid.
What?
Okay.
Why?
Would not take Mo Salah.
What?
He's old.
No.
Yeah.
We in a different stage of where we should be, and we've tried those quick fix. We've tried those quick fix signings like Ronaldo, and we in a phase that Arsenal were in 3 seasons ago. And we don't need players like Mo Salah. We need players who are hungry and young and building. We in a trust the process phase.
World-class players.
Like
We're not
Casemiro.
interested in them.
We are in a build, but sometimes you need the little play, the kingpin who might not be. But we in the trust the process phase, and Antony is the trust the process right winger. Mo Salah is not the trust the process winger.
He is not. On that we can agree. He's the finished article. And you're insane for saying you wouldn't. But I also know you're a rabble rouser and like to do these things.
Trust the process. I think we just need to let it there. With Mo Salah, we're trusting the process for this season. Maybe a little decline, but he's going to come right. We're trusting the process, like Trust the Process FC over there. Welcome to the fashion era age, Wahid, where the best thing about your club is that T-shirt right there.
No, the best thing about my club is Lisandro Martinez. I have so much love for this guy. He's my new favorite player.
I love it.
The man who made your favorite United player and club captain like irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm here for the Lisandro Martinez phase of Man United. I love this guy. He reminds me, he's like a combination of Gabriel Heinze and Marcus Rojo, but actually good. I love this guy.
Okay, we'll find out. Oh yeah, quick predictions. What's happening on Sunday, Wahid? Are you winning or losing?
2-2 draw.
Okay, 2-2. I don't like conceding 2 goals. AB?
It's my birthday on Sunday, so United are obviously going to ruin it. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Arsenal win.
Wow.
Where's the
Okay.
game playing? Are
Old
they playing
Trafford.
in Manchester? Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no,
I
lose.
think this is going to be a 2-0 Man United win.
2-0.
Oh,
Yeah. Ooh,
top of the
okay.
table Arsenal.
You know what it's going to do to Trust the Process FC? They're gonna think they're back in it, which is what I love.
You see, this is the thing for me, and I'll lay it out for you like this is the Matrix, right? Arsenal have had a perfect start to the season. Arsenal fans going berserk, unbelievable. United, not so great start to the season. Everybody's been in turmoil. They signed Casemiro, unbelievably, the heavens open, and suddenly Man United's back. Anthony comes in for an exorbitant amount of money. Everybody thinks the sky is just really, really rosy and blue. It's going to be great. They win their first game with Anthony, and he absolutely pumps in that game against Arsenal. Arsenal all over the place. Mikel Arteta doesn't know what's going on, and suddenly it's doom and gloom back at the Emirates. Then we all start looking at Liverpool and Man City and realize all of this stuff was just preamble, because the reality is that the league only starts after this weekend, when everybody's like, yay, we're great. And everyone's like, oh my God, we're actually not so great. And then we'll be like, okay, now normality has returned.
Okay, the other way around, it's going to happen is Arsenal's going to win, and then we're going to still be like, oh yeah, we actually are pretty good. But let's see on Sunday. All the best, guys. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Cheap Seats. Really great conversation, guys. And remember, we've got the FPL show coming up. And also, just to remind you of this beautiful kit that you can get at Classic Shirts ZA. Remember, it is the discount code is CheapSeats50. Please go check them out at classicshirts.za. Outside of that, yes, CheapSeats99. Yes. Outside of that, thanks, guys. Goodbye, good night, and le sale cacajizo.